Greetings, gorgeous. Welcome to Simply Sango. Wait, let me back up a little bit because my head's like, whoo, it's a big head gal. Okay, that's so much better. Good morning, gorgeous. Greetings. Welcome to Simply Sango. If this is your first time here, my name is Sango, a Japanese Jamaican living here in Japan, trying to, I don't know, live a fulfilling life. Yeah, it's always a different thing every week. If this isn't your first time here, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. I'm grateful that you are enjoying the content so far. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit the like and share button. No, the like and subscribe button. And if you don't feel like doing any one of those, go ahead and share to a family or friend who you think might enjoy the content more than you do, because we all have different tastes, and that's okay. As you guys can see, I got a haircut. Shout out to, I forgot the name of the barber. Those of you who have been here for a while, you guys know that I did the big chop a year ago, and then I bleached and dyed my hair into this beautiful champagne pink color. It was lit, y'all, but it was so hard to take care of. I did the big chop so that I can refresh my hair and take care of it, but then I proceeded to bleach my hair and then it was damaged again. So after that, I shaved it all off and restarted. My head was just a ball of curls. The curls were popping, I'm not gonna lie, but then there's so much hair that I had to use so much product and it was breaking my skin out, and yeah, it was just not pleasant. I wanted to cut my hair but not completely, so I decided that I wanted to style my hair. But there's not a lot of hairdresser, hair salons, whatever you want to call it, that can, you know, style my texture hair. I mean, there are, but it would be like extremely expensive. I think a month ago I asked my friend Kaoji, he's a great friend of the family, he helps us with the jerk chicken business and all of that. I saw his haircut and I was like, dude, like that fade is so cool, like where did you do it? And of course it's a barbershop. Yeah, I was like, oh, who did your hair, blah blah, and he was like, yeah, I can link you up, but it's a barber. And I was like, I don't care, like male, female, whatever in between and whatever out of it, like as long as they can cut my hair, I don't care, okay? So he arranged the appointment for me, and yeah, now I have a cute little, I don't know what it's called, I don't know, haircut. Yeah, I haven't styled it as you can see, but I did moisturize my hair and it's curly. I still have a bald spot right here. Unfortunately, we're still working with that, but it is better than it was before. If you're new here, before I cut my hair was always in a ponytail, a bun, or it was up, you know, it was up in some sort of style, and due to that, I have a bald spot in the back of my head and a bald spot on the side of my head. So I've been trying to, you know, castor oil it up and try to grow it out as much as possible, which is another reason why I did the big chop. If you guys are interested in why I did the big chop and my thought process of doing the big chop, I don't trust my thoughts right now because how I was feeling back then is different from how I'm feeling right now. But if you're interested, I'll leave the video card up right here so you guys can watch. They actually had to set up a time frame out of working hours for me, so I went to the barbershop around like 17 and they gave me a fresh little cut. That's enough with my hair. I've been silent vlogging a lot these days, as you guys can see in my videos, and I thought I can give kind of like a short life update, I guess. So let me move to somewhere comfy so I can sit down and talk to you. Alright, so life update wise, I got a new record player. It's so cool. My record player broke. It's not working, and it's been a sad, depressing apartment without music. Okay, so I got a record player. It's Crossley. It's the good one, I guess. It sounds amazing. It sounds really amazing, and I'm excited to listen to all the records that I bought. while my record player was broken. I was at my parents' place for Obon weekend. That's the second long weekend in August. Obon is a whole different like educational thing. I haven't googled this at all. I'm just gonna explain Obon in my terms. Obon is basically a celebration of our dead ancestors. I believe there's a similar holiday in Mexico. There's a similar holiday in basically any other countries. As some of you may know, I lost my grandfather on my mother's side last year. It was his first Obon. It's kind of a special experience for the whole family, I guess. Obon weekend, it's usually a long week, but this year's Obon, due to the Olympics, it was so patchy. It was one long weekend up there, one long weekend down here. The Obon weekend this year was only 4 days, and usually during the Obon week we have summer festivals where they have the lanterns and the drum beating thingy and, you know, good food. But because of Miss Rona, all those are canceled, unfortunately. So there's basically a procedure for the Obon weekend. First of all, you have to go and get your ancestors at the cemetery. I know it sounds kind of culture shocking, but we all have open minds here. I want to make something really clear. Nothing is weird on this channel, okay? I feel like I am a vessel for so many cultures at this point that it's really hard to weird me out, and I'm really proud of that mindset, honestly. So nothing is weird on this channel, but I am going to use the word weird a lot. It's not in an offensive way. It's a natural thing I do where I unconsciously switch shoes. It's not code switching, but it's like switching my perspective, stepping out of that cultural context and looking at it from a different cultural perspective. Okay, I'm gonna say the word weird a lot, but it's not really a weird thing. Basically, for Obon, the first thing we do, or the thing we do, is we go to the cemetery to pick up our ancestors. And the way we do that is really, really intimate, and it's really intentional and all. So the whole process is you have to go to the cemetery to pick up our ancestors. We have our candles, we have our lighter, and we have our incense. We take those main 3 items and head to the cemetery. Some other optional items you can take to the graveyard or cemetery is fresh flowers. Don't remember the title of the flowers, but I'll put the title of the flowers here and how they look. There are several types of bouquet here in Japan, and I'm pretty sure the florist will tell you, but there are flower bouquets for dead people and flower bouquets for alive people. Don't give alive people dead people flowers. I'm trying to be not disrespectful as much as possible, but my vocabulary range is not that big, so please don't get this wrong. But we're gonna take the dead people flowers, and it's a fresh flowers. It's not like the flowers are dead or anything. It's fresh. Okay, they're beautiful. I actually really love these. I would love to put them in my house, but it's kind of taboo because I'm alive. Yeah, we can bring clippers, like gardening clippers and gloves, to kind of clean up the, you know, your ancestors' grave. Fun fact, all our ancestors are basically in one grave. It's not like the usual graveyard, like Western graveyard, where you literally put a coffin in the grave. The body is basically incarcerated, and you get the ashes in the little vase. And what they do with that vase is they don't really sprinkle it in the ocean like the dramatic movies do. They keep the ashes in the little vase, and what they do is they put it in the grave. Inside of the grave is like cement. It's cement. It's like a cabinet, basically. It's like an underground cabinet where there's like shelves. So basically all your ancestors' ashes are rested on the shelves. It's really hard to picture, but I did not want to film this out of respect for my ancestors. Of course, I'm not that stupid. So if I pass away, God forbid, knocking on wood, not really that much of a superstitious person, my ashes will be placed in the vase and I will be seated on the shelf, underground cabinet shelf, with my ancestors, if that is how I want to be buried. Okay, this is gonna spiral into something else, so I'm gonna stop here. So basically, after cleaning up the graveyard and, you know, putting down pretty flowers, replacing the water, we put little cups of water or sake on the grave for our ancestors so that they can, you know, have it fun. But this is Obon, we're taking it back home. All that lit stuff is back at home. So we have our lantern, the lighter, and the incense. What we basically do is, you know, we light the incense, put it down, and put our palms together. It's like a mindful moment where I don't know what everybody do, but I usually, you know, say thank you. I don't know, for protecting me. They're my ancestors. So we put our palms together and Namu. There's this whole commercial on it. After everybody does that, we light the little lantern. So the lantern folds like this, yeah? And when it folds like this, the candle is in the middle. So you basically light that candle, spread the lantern out so that the lantern protects the fire. So I don't know which one of this is right, but when we did this, my grandma and my mom was more like the fire is my grandfather and all the ancestors, and we can't put the fire out until we get home. So our job is to keep that fire lit. But then there's another theory, I guess, that's kind of like a guide light. We light the fire and they follow us. Don't know which one is correct. If you know the answer, please let me know. But basically we light the fire and we protect the lantern and we go back home. Now this was really hard this year. It was raining. It's a typhoon weekend and it was raining, it was windy, and there's a freaking lantern lit and all of this, and I don't know why, but I was responsible for carrying the fire. And the lantern is basically on a stick that you hold like this and you walk around, right? It's raining, it's windy, I have an umbrella and I have the lantern. My main job was to keep the fire on. Yeah, just remember that, okay? The ride back was smooth, everything worked out fine. My mom helped me with the umbrella, we bring it back, and you know, our ancestors are back home. Another fun fact, during the Obon, you'll see a lot of eggplants and cucumbers. The eggplant represents the cow and the cucumber represents a horse. First of all, most Japanese households, we have a in-house temple shrine for our ancestors. They're called butsudan, by the way, the little in-house shrines. More apartments coming up and more people estranging from their culture. Not a lot of houses have those, unfortunately. I could be wrong, but our house, like where my parents live, they don't have it, but my grandparents' place has it. For the Obon, we kind of decorate it with more lanterns, electric, because we have a plug. We don't have to carry it around. So there's like lanterns, and we have like beautiful lanterns, and we have lanterns on the inside and lanterns on the outside. But lanterns on the outside represent that somebody is celebrating their first Obon. Basically means that a family member or a relative has recently passed away within the last year. Pre-COVID, monks will see that and they will come there and do their blessings and whatever they did. I didn't get to witness that this year because it's COVID. Now I will explain the COVID part. Instead of the monks walking around every house that has the lantern outside, any household that has lost their family member or a family member will go to the shrine and have the blessing and go back home. Going back to my butsudan story, we decorate the butsudan with a bunch of things. Whatever was the ancestors' favorite food. My grandfather loved bananas and chocolate. Remember I said the eggplant represents the cow and the cucumber represents the horse. So basically those are carriages. Those are what our ancestors get on to come and go within the world that exists. Whenever you're waiting for somebody, you want them to come as soon as possible. So that's why the cucumbers represents the horses. But when someone's leaving, you don't want them to, you know, leave so fast. You want them to take their time because all is finished, and you want them to get there safe. So they use the cow. So basically the horse is the fastest moving animal. No, it's not the fastest moving animal, but it represents, you know, speed. And oh wait, it's the fastest animal we can ride, a horse, because cheetahs are fast, but we can't ride them. I mean, you could if you try, I guess, but they'll eat you before you're able to do that. This is such a bad joke. So our ancestors are on the horses to come over, to cross over to the living land. And then when we're sending them back, they get on the cows so that they can go back slowly. This is such a beautiful story. I love it. I don't know where the origin is from. I'm probably gonna Google it after this, But that's all you need to know for now. So during this Obon period, our close relatives or friends of the ancestors will come by the house and, you know, say their blessings and all that stuff, and give offerings and so on and so forth. Random fact, it is said that if you don't visit the household that is celebrating their first Obon and you know that person, if you don't visit them during the Obon period, they will appear in your dream and tell you to come visit them. One of our relatives had that experience. Apparently my grandfather showed up in his dream and he was like, why aren't you showing up? You better get up, come meet me, I'm here, you know. So it's very wholesome and heartwarming, to be honest. But that's before and during Obon. Now after that period is finished, you still have the job to bring them back to the cemetery, you know, sending them back bye-bye on their cows. This time it's the opposite. We light the lantern at the house and we keep it lit until we get to the designated grave. It's still raining and it's still windy, and this time my mom wasn't able to help me with the umbrella. So my mom's driving, I have the lantern in my hand. I'm like, ooh, Grandpa, we're sending you back. Thank you for visiting. Blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm not saying these out loud, of course, but I'm thinking it. We arrive at the cemetery parking lot. It is one thing to get out of the car on a rainy day with an umbrella. It's a whole hassle, okay? But doing it with a fire that you're not supposed to, like, blow out, nightmare. I don't ever want to be responsible for this ever again, okay? I'm traumatized. I'm just kidding, it's not that traumatizing. It's me, my mom, and my grandmother. We arrive at the parking area. My mom's driving. She's in the front seat. She's gathering her things, but my grandmother was faster, so she wanted to help. She grabbed the umbrella, closed, and handed it to me, closed. The door is slightly open so that the wind doesn't come in and blow the candle out. I have the lantern in my hand and I have a closed umbrella in my hand. You know, at that point I should have just waited on my mom and asked her to help me with the umbrella, but so I'm like, I'm gonna open this umbrella. It's gonna be a hassle, but I'm gonna get it done. So I have the lantern, I have the plastic umbrella in my hand. And it's not even one of those umbrellas that shoots up with one button. It's one of those umbrellas that you need to use your two hands and spread it out. As you might have already imagined, while I was trying to open the umbrella opened. But the moment it shot open, I dropped the lantern and the fire went out. Moment of silence. Yeah, shame. Massive shame, okay? But my grandmother laughed and she was like, why did you I don't even remember what she said, because at the moment I was like, oh, I hope I didn't lose my ancestor in the rain and they're cold and freezing. My mom rushed over, lit the lantern again. This is what you get for not asking for help when you need help. Lesson learned. The lantern is lit and we walk back to the designated grave and we put out the fire and, you know, all is done. Final random fact. When you're putting out a fire, anything related to this, for example, if it's incense, candles, matches, you don't blow it out. You use your hand, you cup your hand, and you basically turning off the fire with your hand. I've seen a monk do it and it was so cool. They got it on one go. I'm like, oh, that is so cool. But yeah, that's it for Obon weekend. But basically, without the whole Corona thing, we would have been, you know, celebrating, wearing our little yukata, fireworks, Obon festivals where they have the little drum in the middle and the beautiful lanterns, food, tents, and we're just dancing. We do the little ghost dance thingy, not Thriller, but we do the ghost dance thingy. Every town has their designated Obon songs and it's always lit. Everybody's dancing in like the little circle. Dances are super easy to do. It's like some 1-2 steps and, you know, it's a lot of hand movements. I'm not really good at it, but that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, single out.